There are various tools also, like if we look at all the industry standard tools that are coming in the market, be it analytical tools or be it business process modeling tools, there is an element of intelligence that is added to all these tools, which really helps people telling what are the next best actions and how they should plan their action. So the sum of all this is being digital rather than feeling digital about it. So these are some of the statistics. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the statistics. So this is about the various services that IT companies offer and the percentage of revenues that come from these various services. And with that said, with the SMAC part of it, the kind of revenues that the industry is seeing, these are the kind of billions of dollars that are stacked up. Just the addition of this is like almost $1 trillion, which is expected in this industry right now. So these are the sources, and this is the kind of growth the industry is going to have, and which amounts for almost $1 trillion in these areas. With this background, we will now get into the industry scenarios as well, like practically how are these applying to the industries. Okay, so for example, now if we take any industry, one of the first things is the marketing and sales that happens in the industry, be it financial industry or manufacturing or retail, and the kind of marketing and sales that's happening with the digital marketing, the social media, the customer sentiments, and what are the different channels which you can communicate with. So that is the digital marketing, and also the customer relationship management becoming completely integrated. So not only knowing that this is your customer, but also knowing what is the household view of the customer. Who are the other people in the connections of your customer or your prospect, and what kind of demographics do they have, and getting that complete view about them. And then the Salesforce automation with the content management and all that area, the multi-channel integration and integration with your partners and vendors. Okay, these are all the areas. Any particular area you would like to get into detail in this? Like from various industries, how different industry examples or different industry areas which you work on. How many of you here are from manufacturing industry? Quite a few, okay, good. So moving on from the product development area, the kind of market research that is happening today, we hear about crowdsourcing, right? No longer it is the R&D department which sits in one corner looking at the products on what the customers would need and start building the product. But there is a whole group of customers available there on the social media who really design what they want in the future. Like if you see the examples that are happening today, even the kind of cars, the features they want in the cars are thrown open to the customers to really say what they want to do, the complete crowdsourcing area of it, right? And then the pricing analysis, which is about determining what type of price models to use, what will really benefit, and how to stay competitive at the same time the price will be profitable. The dynamic pricing and the product delivery as well. So just because this is a little more into the domain, I will just move to the other areas on customer service and governance and reporting as well. So in the customer service, we already spoke about the channel management, and one of the other things that you see very predominantly is the use of intelligent agents as well. Like for example, the furniture store, IKEA, right? If you go to the IKEA store, you no longer have to call a number. But what appears there is a virtual agent. A virtual agent that appears there, which uses your data, and it can connect with you to find out what you're looking for in the store. Right? There are many companies like, for example, IntelliWise, one of the companies which build these agents. So they create avatars, like our Second Life kind of avatars can be created on the customer service area, which can really guide you into your problems and find the best way to solve your problem. So with all these things, you can actually see that the complete world of ITIL is also evolving, right? Because in ITIL, we used to see so many processes which are going to handle the services, right? That complete area is also changing with the kind of technologies that are coming in. Then your intelligent agents, your contact center, like one of the good examples that I saw recently is from Cisco, where they have a contact center using their integrated contact center management. Where in India, this is implemented, where they reach out to all the rural areas, where patients come to the urban cities, have a surgery done, and once they go back to their villages, they can monitor the patients remotely. And a specific doctor's appointment can be blocked, and they can monitor the patient through the use of the cameras there. They go to the rural center there and get the prescription, the advice, and monitoring happens there. And all these records are digitally stored, and all analytics can be done on this data as well at any point in time. So that is the way the contact center is also moving, and the cross-sell and the upsell with the amount of data, the footprints that we are leaving behind in the digital world, that is making all the cross-sell connections and the upsell connections as well. When you tweet somewhere saying that you're unhappy with a service, there are other, for example, you're unhappy with a bank, there are so many other banks which are watching that, the reputation that is happening, and it becomes easy for them to contact you, where you're unhappy and what they need to do about contacting you, and what are the kind of products they need to sell to you. And the complete, from the customer service, it's also driving the sales and marketing. The self-service channels. So we evolved from a way of the normal service to the IVRS kind of modes. And now it is even much further, where the complete seamless, starting from the interaction to really buying the product or getting your query resolved, is completely in a self-service mode. The governance and reporting area, this is completely very analytics driven as well, which is the regulatory compliance. So every industry, the mandates they have to comply with, the regulatory compliance, the fraud detection, which is more of sustaining the business and proactively capturing the fraud. Like one of the best examples that we see really implemented is, for example, in the financial industry. If someone says that they had an accident, and you see the same person on the social media saying that they are going on a vacation. So this is one of the very best ways today insurance companies are tracking to identify fraud. Not only a particular person's fraud, they are even able to capture fraud rings, what they call as, like multiple people coming together in terms of or doing an organized fraud, right? For example, this happens a lot with healthcare, where people, many medical incidents, they will see all the doctor's prescription, but then they will find that there are so many doctors who are operating as a ring, where they submit so many bills for the patients. This was recently identified, and almost $4 billion it had costed the US, where they identified a healthcare fraud ring. So these are all the various areas where they use analytics today. So when they see a claim like that coming in, they can immediately know whether that claim is going to be a fraudulent claim or not. Then on the operations side, which is from the efficiency perspective, where the cost is more and what kind of cost reductions can happen, this is also another area which is very relevant in the manufacturing industry as well, right, in the operations side. Then prescriptive actions is where not only telling what is going to happen, but also suggesting what needs to happen. These are all tied together with the data integration and the analytics and the infrastructure, the cloud part of it, both for the infrastructure and also many of the services we saw above also becoming as a service, and also a business process being a service now. And to top it all, there is the customer experience management, where all the different channels and the mobility and the areas of this customer experience comes together. So with that, The IT companies' functions like sales, delivery, the commercial models, how the IT companies run, the sourcing patterns, and the partnerships are also changing with these emerging technologies. So this is how the industry needs, the IT service value chains are also impacting, getting impacted. Okay.
Business operations, you mentioned, driving down costs as one of the, drivers, impact that it is, creating. So is it mostly as a result of cloud, or are there any other, technologies at play which is making a difference in business operations?
So definitely cloud is helping in the business operations, but it is not just only cloud. There are also other areas which are helping in the operations, cutting down the costs. For example, all the other three like social, mobile, and analytics also help in cutting down the cost. Just to give an example on each of these, for example, if I take analytics, okay? Today, you get to see from the operational angle how much cost, where it has gone, and what is happening. But with the kind of analytics that is possible, you not only see where the cost has gone, but you can also see patterns of the costs. Like someone who is raising a cost of this much dollars, for example, let me take a good example, which is very, very real life. Because I come from the financial services industry, I will be able to throw a lot of examples from that industry. So, for example, in an insurance industry, what happens is, when we have an accident, when we raise a claim, the insurance company receives our claim and they process the claim. So while processing the claim, every day that is spent in processing the claim is a cost to the insurance company. We see it from one side where we get very annoyed if our payment is not done on time, right? It definitely defeats the customer satisfaction. Also, from a cost perspective, if you see, the car that is hit has to be stored somewhere for certain days. The storage costs are enormous for the insurance company. They deal with so many service providers to get the car fixed. So each day of it is a cost to them. So there are so many costs in it. So what insurance companies do in this area is they use analytics to see what kind of accidents or what kind of damages, who are the best service providers to whom those damages can be given. Suppose this is this particular make of the car and it is only for example, a bumper dent, it need not go through a certain particular service provider. It can be given to one X provider. But if there is a certain other defect which needs to be corrected, a different provider has to be utilized. So these are all the kind of analytics which the insurance companies use to come up with what the cost reduction in that. So that is one area. Then not only with that, they also feed this back into their pricing model. So seeing this, what kind of customers, like for example, if the age is between a particular age group, this is the demographics where the accidents are more, they feed it into their sales and distribution as well. So that is another area where they cut down the costs. So cloud is one area, analytics is another area from a mobility perspective. So the complete expense of your marketing expense used to get spent in so many collaterals that you need to create, the kind of reach you have to the customers, the prospects. That complete expense has come down very, very dramatically currently. The marketing spend is increasing due to the technologies they are going after. But then it is not increasing because of the activities of marketing. The marketing activities have substantially reduced where they go for digital marketing, where at the same time they are able to reach so many customers at the same time, right? That is one. And of course, from a social angle, the costs are like the reputation costs, what you can get, and the reach. You need experts. Today, for example, in the healthcare industry, you do not need to know only a few doctors. There are networks that are coming up, especially in the Middle East, in the Gulf countries. There are doctors' networks that are coming up, where people can post their questions to the doctors and can understand what they need to do next. So not only for the customers, from even for the organizations like the industries, their reach has increased in that area. So the spend for the companies are definitely reducing, and that is where they are, from the operation angle, they are seeing that there is a decrease from this MAC. And one more area which is becoming very, very popular is, along with the manufacturing industry, is augmented reality, in addition to all this, where any particular area that you need to assess, for example, you are going to buy a home and you want to do the home insurance, for example. The traditional way was a person going to the home, inspecting all the contents of the home, what are all the various valuable materials you have in the home, assessing them, and then giving you a price for your insurance. That is completely changing today with the augmented reality and the mobility. So people take photographs and they post it on the site, and they have augmented reality applications where they can, by focusing the mobile on the object, you can sense what the object is, and there are some very, very good algorithms which are used in the medical industry, which can calculate the surface area of the object and then find out what the object is for, and take care of the insurance as well. Okay, so these are some of the things. With that said, looking at the time, I will just go a little fast on this. That's the last slide I had on this, and then I have an industry example which showing the various areas on the operations and also on the various value chains, and have a few snapshots of what we have done in this area as well. Okay, with this is an insurance industry example, and just to take you further on this, the future belongs to those who sees it now. And some of the examples that I can take you is, these are all in-house applications that we have built, which uses these platforms to simultaneously create the portals for the customers, for the groups, and also for the agents on multiple devices. And this is the kind of cost decrease also you can see. And with analytics, this is also another analytics example that I was speaking about, where you can analyze it using a dashboard or predictive model or prescriptive model and things like that. And of course, with all the millennials coming in, gamification is another very big trend that is happening, where work is becoming a game as well. So with that, I will stop, and if there are any questions, I will take it. I think it's time, so yeah.
In terms of how IT service companies are capitalizing on this opportunity presented by digital, do you see more of here's a new opportunity to leverage digital, and this is the impact you can create? Are you seeing more of that, or this is what I'm doing today? It could be an application support, it could be infrastructure support, or whatever that is. Here is how it can be transformed in the digital world, and I can do that for you over a period of 2 years, 3 years, or whatever time frame. So which one are you seeing from your experience that is more common? The latter one is more transformational, as part of your existing footprint, whereas the former one is more of a new opportunity.
See, the thing we are observing in the industry is transformation is now, it's a given. So it is like the very fundamental thing you have to have.
Earlier, transformation was driven by reducing costs.
Correct.
Year on year, you were expected to improve productivity, reduce costs.
Yeah. So even now, reducing cost, even though it is there, it is changing a lot. If we speak to some of the analysts like the Gartners and the Forresters and also the CEOs of the companies, even though there is a cost reduction that is there on the agenda, the cost reduction has come down below on their agenda. What has increased on their agenda is the growth and customer centricity. That has taken the topmost space rather than cost reduction today. So people are looking at how to do it in a very nimble way, how to do it in a way that is very, very easy to do. And the cost has become an outcome of that. But that is not the focus of it. Growth has taken precedence over cost. Thank you.
Maybe I will just ask, can you explain little bit about gamification platform you have made, because this is something interesting as an example to study.
Sure. See, the gamification platform, what we have created is, first of all, in our organization, the work itself is completely gamified. So we have a kind of an internal gamification platform that we use where people can log in the bugs they see in the code and have some leader score boards and things like that. So this is a screenshot from that. The way we are seeing the industry doing it, and we have done it for one of our insurers, is two things. One, a lot of knowledge is available in the experienced people in the organization. So that knowledge is not documented anywhere, and it is all in the heads of the people. One. Second, the new generation workforce that is coming to work, they do not want to read the manuals, or their way of working is completely different. It is the angry birds and the gamification that is driving the work culture. So what's happening there is, one, to motivate the workforce that is